All right, well, welcome to day 2. Rocket Lane, thank you for building such an incredible community. This is something I think I've been seeking for about 16 years. It only took me 16 years to find it, but we're here. I'm gonna do a little something different. Before we dive in, I just want everyone to really pause with me just for a minute. I know we've all been in back-to-back sessions, soaking in incredible ideas, scribbling down all those insights, and probably squeezing in a couple Slack messages between sessions. You might be thinking about a quick call you need to make, or that one urgent reply you've been drafting in your head on your walk down here this morning. I get it, we're all living in that space between trying to be fully present while staying fully. Do you mind scrolling the screen for me? Or zooming out? Well, this is a good time to line me up for the breath I would like us all to take. Breath work is something I'm also certified in. I think it's really important in the corporate world, but I also know we've been taking in a lot of information. So, if you don't mind, go ahead and close your eyes real quick for me. And I will let you know what to do, and then we'll go into it. We're just gonna take a full breath in through your nose with your eyes closed. You're gonna then pause and just let that sit. Hold that breath for about 10 seconds. And I encourage you then to breathe out with a little bit of noise, like let go of whatever is going on. All right, breathe in. Hold that breath. And let that out. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in. Hold. And out. Well, that made me feel better. I hope it made you feel better too, and align you for the rest of day 2. Thanks so much for being here again today. I'm really thrilled about being a part of Propel 25 and really excited to be talking about something that is at the heart of every great services business. It's the customer journey. We're gonna walk through how mastering this journey from the first promise made to the long-term success of your customer can create unmatched value, not just for them, but your teams too. I'll share a little bit about me before we get into it. I'm a Phoenix native. Guess you've probably never met somebody that was born, raised, and is still in Phoenix and puts up with 120-degree weather, but that's me. I spent 16 years of my career in the MSP industry, and I am obsessed with connection. Over the course of my career, I built 2 onboarding implementation teams from scratch, everything from hiring, structure, process, metrics. I've also led 2 PSA platform implementations, most recently Rocket Lane, to help bring clarity, consistency to complex delivery journeys. My experience does span from M&A, consulting, high-touch enterprise onboardings, and I've personally helped guide over 500+ enterprise customers through implementation. I don't say this to impress you, but to ground what I'm saying to you today. There's lessons that come from the real trenches, the wins, the mistakes, and a whole lot of lessons learned. One thing to know about me, and I hope that you get this through my talk today, I do believe connection is the key to everything, between teams, between our systems, and between people. My purpose is to serve, to bridge gaps, empower humans, and make sure we all deliver on the promises we make. So here are some of those key 4 lessons I've learned. They didn't come from a whiteboard. They have come from that messy real world experience. I spent most of my career, again, in leading those onboarding and implementations. I've sat in the center from sales to delivery and support. One of the most consistent and baffling experiences, we have infamous handoff to sales. I think most people have talked about this the last 2 days. 9 times out of 10, we'd get a signed contract, an order form, and that was it. It was like sales took 4 months of discovery pain points, strategic goals, emotional drivers, and ran it through the shredder, and then tossed it over the wall. The customer's why was gone. Their must-haves missing. The things they begged us to understand before the next team would engage, vapor. And yet our job was to pick it up from there and deliver that white glove experience. That's when it really hit me. These aren't just a handoff issue. It's a context crisis. And that's where the first lesson comes in. Context is king. We've all seen what happens when one team hands off without explaining the customer's why and sharing more content. Lesson 2, I do believe handoffs are everything. When downstream teams are invited to sales kickoff calls, when delivery is invited to the onboarding, you create empathy. You create a process of belonging to that one team, that one customer journey. You must figure out how to measure and iterate. You can't fix what you don't track. You can't fix what you don't see. And you definitely can't fix what you aren't working on in between those teams. Silos cost us. The cost of that is trust, revenue, and retention. These lessons have become my non-negotiables. One of the most powerful changes I've made in a couple organizations is really inviting sales to the onboarding workshops. In some of my experience, we would travel out to customer sites and we'd be there for 4 days after the customer had signed to learn as much as we could. Inviting the sales team to this was one of the smartest things we ever did. And because it just opened their eyes, they understood more of the pain points and what went into actually getting a customer live. I would have numerous conversations with our sales reps after saying, I had no idea how much work went into this, right? It's never that people don't want to help or do right, they just don't know. We also were able to really deliver huge value back to our sales team or CSMs or delivery teams too when we would do these things, because they would say, I just learned more about my customer in 3 days than it would take me to learn in a year through my normal connections. This moment of shared experience, it built empathy, it broke down those silos, and it started reshaping how we collaborated together. Why does this journey matter? I think oftentimes we think about first impressions. With that first call, when the deal signed, maybe that first kickoff call. It's just not how our customers see it. For them, the first impression, it's accumulative across all of those teams. It's built in the handoffs from sales to onboarding, onboarding to delivery. And what they often experience in those moments are delays, repeat questions, miscontext, and a story they already told you. That's why I think this question is so important. When was the last time you truly reimagined your end-to-end journey? Not from your team's perspective, but from the customers or from the teams that surround you. The customer doesn't care where one team ends and the other begins. They expect one experience, and that's on us to deliver. Let's talk about what's at stake when handoffs break down. The cost isn't just operational, it's strategic. You lose time, you lose trust, and often you lose the renewal before the first invoice is even paid. Customers don't churn because of service gaps or product gaps. Oftentimes they churn because they don't feel heard. They're not getting that partnership they were promised up front. They're frustrated for having to repeat themselves, or worse, they experience confusion and chaos in what should be the most confident building phase of the relationship. Every day stuck in a handoff limbo delays their time to value. And every delay increases your risk. Delayed onboarding, that starts delayed trust. Delayed outcomes, that's a delayed renewal. This isn't about assigning blame, though. It's acknowledging the reality. Sloppy handoffs cost us business. We can't afford to keep leaking value in the space between the teams. Early handoffs aren't just operational, they're reputational. In the first few weeks post-sale, your customer's watching you closely. They're wondering, did we choose the right partner? And what they're experienced during onboarding will either reinforce the decision or it's gonna start planting seeds of doubt. This is especially true in my experience with enterprise deals. These buyers, your customers, your partners, they don't just buy based on price or feature. They buy based on confidence and partnership. And that confidence is built when your handoffs are precise. Your roles are clear.